Heart Rate Florida PHR SPHR Certification Prep Class Final Exam, 137 questions with explained answers. Question 1. The 4 stages in the life cycles of a business are: Option A, recruiting, hiring, promotion, evaluation. Option B, introduction, growth, maturity, decline. Option C, job analysis, job design, job description, job evaluation. Option D, planning, implementing, evaluating, revising. The correct answer is option B, introduction, growth, maturity, decline. Explanation. Correct answer, introduction, growth, maturity, decline. The correct answer is introduction, growth, maturity, decline. This answer accurately represents the 4 stages in the life cycle of a business. The introduction stage is when a business is first established and begins to gain customers. The growth stage is characterized by increasing sales and expanding operations. The maturity stage is when the business has reached its peak and is stable. The decline stage is when the business starts to decline in sales and profitability. These stages are commonly observed in the life cycle of businesses. Question 2. When an interviewer asks standardized questions of every applicant for the same job, it is N. Option A, stress interview. Option B, non-directive interview. Option C, structured interview. Option D, unstructured interview. The correct answer is option C, a structured interview. Explanation. A structured interview is characterized by the use of standardized questions that are asked to every applicant for the same job. This type of interview is designed to ensure consistency and fairness in the hiring process by evaluating all candidates based on the same criteria. It allows for a systematic and objective assessment of each applicant's qualifications and suitability for the job. Question 3. Under the ADEA, it is unlawful to discriminate against employees or applicants who are: Option A, 40 years of age or older. Option B, 40-65 years of age. Option C, 40-70 years of age. Option D, 40-80 years of age. The correct answer is option A, of 40 years of age or older. Explanation. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act, ADEA, prohibits discrimination against employees or applicants who are 40 years of age or older. This means that it is illegal for employers to treat individuals less favorably or make employment decisions based on their age if they are 40 years old or older. The ADEA aims to protect older workers from age-based discrimination in the workplace and ensure equal opportunities for employment. Question 4. Which level of training evaluation provides data related to sales increases or cost savings? Option A, reaction. Option B, learning. Option C, behavior. Option D, results. The correct answer is option D, results. Explanation. The level of training evaluation that provides data related to sales increases or cost savings is the results level. This level focuses on measuring the impact of training on the organization's bottom line and includes metrics such as increased sales revenue or reduced costs as a result of the training program. It helps determine the effectiveness of the training in achieving the desired business outcomes and ROI. Question 5. Which of the following quality tools prioritizes categories from the most important to the least important? Option A, control chart. Option B, Pareto chart. Option C, run chart. Option D, scattergram. The correct answer is option B, Pareto chart. Explanation. The Pareto chart is a quality tool that prioritizes categories from the most important to the least important. It is based on the Pareto principle, which states that a small number of causes are responsible for the majority of the problems or issues. The chart helps to identify and prioritize these causes by displaying them in descending order of frequency or impact. This allows for focused problem solving and decision making, as the most significant issues can be addressed first. Question 6. Training usually. Option A, involves only entry-level adjustment activities. Option B, emphasizes teaching specific and immediately usable skills. Option C, involves the development of conceptual knowledge. Option D, emphasizes long-term career development. The correct answer is option B, emphasizes teaching specific and immediately usable skills. Explanation. Correct answer, emphasizes teaching specific and immediately usable skills. The correct answer is emphasizes teaching specific and immediately usable skills. This is because the statement implies that training focuses on providing practical skills that can be applied immediately in a job or task. It suggests that the emphasis is on teaching specific skills rather than conceptual knowledge or long-term career development. Question 7. An employer refuses to hire a worker because she is a Christian. Another employer fires an employee because he is an atheist. A third employer fires a Muslim employee because she marries a Jewish man. In general, which of these employers is violating EEO law? Option A, the employer who refused to hire a Christian. Option B, both the employer who refused to hire a Christian worker and the employer who fired the Muslim employee. Option C, all three employers are in violation of the EEOC. Option D, EEOC guidelines do not pertain to these employers. The correct answer is option C. All three employers are in violation of the EEOC. Explanation. All three employers are in violation of the EEOC because EEOC guidelines prohibit discrimination based on an individual's religion. Refusing to hire or firing an employee based on their religious beliefs or affiliations is a direct violation of these guidelines. Discrimination based on religion is considered a form of religious discrimination, which is illegal under the EEOC laws. Question 8. A non-exempt worker in a manufacturing facility works 38 hours in the first week of the pay period, 42 hours in the next. The company pays its employees every 2 weeks. How should the overtime issue be handled? Option A, average the hours to 40 hours no O/T do. Option B, pay 5 hours O/T in week 2. Option C, pay 2 hours O/T in week 2. Option D, offer comp time the following week. The correct answer is option B, pay 5 hours O/T in week 2. Explanation. Correct answer, to pay 2 hours of overtime in week 2. The correct answer is to pay 2 hours of overtime in week 2. This is because according to the Fair Labor Standards Act, FLSA, overtime is calculated based on a workweek, which is defined as a fixed and regularly recurring period of 168 hours, or 7 consecutive 24-hour periods. In this case, the worker has worked a total of 80 hours in the 2-week pay period, which exceeds the standard 40 hours per week. Therefore, the worker is entitled to 2 hours of overtime pay for the second week. Question 9. The job characteristics model includes Option A, implementation, attitude surveys, responses, feedback. Option B, motivation factors and incentives. Option C, skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, feedback. Option D, job analysis, task significance, feedback. The correct answer is option C, skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, feedback. Explanation. Correct answer, skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, feedback. The correct answer is skill variety, task identity, task significance, autonomy, feedback. The job characteristics model is a framework that identifies 5 core job characteristics that lead to increased motivation, satisfaction, and performance. These characteristics include skill variety, the extent to which a job requires different skills and talents; task identity, the extent to which a job involves completing a whole and identifiable piece of work; task significance, the impact and importance of the job; autonomy, the level of independence and control over how the job is performed; and feedback, the extent to which the job provides clear and direct information about performance. Question 10. Research has identified 3 psychological determinants that influence a person's decision to join or avoid a union. What are the 3 determinants? Option A, the health of the economy, desire to feel accepted, and strong beliefs about the union. Option B, perception of the work environment, desire to participate, and strong beliefs about the union. Option C, the health of the economy, the perceptions of family members, and the desire to impact society. Option D, perception of the work environment, the perception of family members, and the feeling that it's the right thing to do. The correct answer is option B, perception of the work environment, desire to participate, and strong beliefs about the union. Explanation. The 3 determinants that influence a person's decision to join or avoid a union are perception of the work environment, desire to participate, and strong beliefs about the union. These factors play a crucial role in shaping an individual's decision-making process. The perception of the work environment refers to how an individual perceives the conditions, treatment, and overall atmosphere of the workplace. The desire to participate reflects the individual's willingness and motivation to actively engage in union activities and contribute to collective efforts. Strong beliefs about the union indicate the individual's values, ideologies, and convictions regarding the importance and effectiveness of unions in advocating for workers' rights and interests. Question 11. Which of the following describes research instrument validity? Option A, ability to determine statistical range, percentiles, and standard deviation. Option B, ability of a test or questionnaire to measure what it is intended to measure. Option C, ability of a test or questionnaire to measure with relative absence of error. Option D, ability to establish degree of correlation among variables. The correct answer is option B, ability of a test or questionnaire to measure what it is intended to measure. Explanation. Research instrument validity refers to the extent to which a test or questionnaire accurately measures what it is intended to measure. It ensures that the instrument is measuring the specific construct or concept it claims to measure, without any bias or distortion. Validity is important in research as it ensures that the results obtained from the instrument are reliable and meaningful. Question 12. An blank job is often described as one performed by many individuals or having special significance to the organization for comparison purposes. Option A, benchmark. Option B, assembly. Option C, professional. Option D, key. The correct answer is option A, benchmark. Explanation. A benchmark job is often described as one performed by many individuals or having special significance to the organization for comparison purposes. This means that a benchmark job is used as a standard or reference point to evaluate and compare other jobs within the organization. It serves as a point of comparison for determining the relative value and compensation of other jobs. Question 13. According to Stephen Covey's two principal components of leadership, leaders blank. Option A, challenge people to test their limits and expand the range of their skills beyond their routine jobs. Option B, provide vision and direction, values and purposes, and inspire and motivate people to work together. Option C, intervene only if standards are not met and then give personal attention. Option D, contract exchange of reward for effort and recognize accomplishments that exceed expectations. The correct answer is option B, provide vision and direction, values and purposes, and inspire and motivate people to work together. Explanation. According to Stephen Covey's two principal components of leadership, leaders provide vision and direction, values and purposes, and inspire and motivate people to work together. This means that leaders should have a clear vision for the future, set goals and objectives, and provide guidance on how to achieve them. They should also establish and communicate the values and purposes of the organization, creating a sense of shared mission and identity. Additionally, leaders should inspire and motivate their team members, encouraging collaboration and teamwork to achieve common goals. Question 14. Which job evaluation method does not truly consider the relative internal worth of a job? Option A, ranking method. Option B, grading method. Option C, point factor method. Option D, market pricing method. The correct answer is option D, market pricing method. Explanation. The market pricing method does not truly consider the relative internal worth of a job because it relies on external market data and benchmarks to determine the job's value. This method focuses on what other organizations are paying for similar jobs in the market, rather than evaluating the job based on its internal factors such as skills, responsibilities, and qualifications. Therefore, it does not provide a comprehensive assessment of the job's internal worth within the organization. Question 15. Measuring the degree of association that exists between two or more variables is the purpose of Option A, correlation analysis. Option B, discriminant analysis. Option C, time series analysis. Option D, regression analysis. The correct answer is option A, correlation analysis. Explanation. Correlation analysis is the statistical technique used to measure the degree of association between two or more variables. It determines the strength and direction of the relationship between variables, indicating whether they are positively or negatively correlated. This analysis helps in understanding the extent to which changes in one variable are related to changes in another variable. It is commonly used in various fields such as economics, finance, and social sciences to identify and analyze relationships between variables. Question 16. Development is different from training because Option A, it emphasizes ethics rather than skills. Option B, it focuses on less tangible aspects of performance, such as attitudes and values. Option C, it is an independent, encapsulated activity. Option D, it is solely a process of maturation. The correct answer is option B. It focuses on less tangible aspects of performance, such as attitudes and values. Explanation. Development is different from training because it focuses on less tangible aspects of performance, such as attitudes and values. While training is primarily focused on acquiring and improving specific skills, development goes beyond that and aims to enhance overall personal growth and effectiveness. It involves cultivating qualities like leadership, emotional intelligence, and ethical decision-making. Development activities often include self-reflection, feedback, and experiential learning to foster a deeper understanding of oneself and others. Unlike training, which is more skill-oriented and task-focused, development is concerned with the holistic development of an individual. Question 17. Which of the following methods is not a mathematical method for forecasting heart rate demand? Option A, simulation models. Option B, productivity ratios. Option C, estimates. Option D, statistical regression analysis. The correct answer is option C, estimates. Explanation. Estimates are not a mathematical method for forecasting heart rate demand because they are based on subjective judgments and opinions rather than quantitative data or mathematical calculations. While simulation models, productivity ratios, and statistical regression analysis involve mathematical techniques and data analysis to forecast heart rate demand, estimates rely on the expertise and intuition of individuals to make predictions. Therefore, estimates are not considered a mathematical method for forecasting heart rate demand. Question 18. Organizational and recognition picketing are prohibited if a union has been recognized or a valid election occurred within the previous blank. Option A, 6 months. Option B, 12 months. Option C, 30 days. Option D, 60 days. The correct answer is option B, 12 months. Explanation. Organizational and recognition picketing are prohibited if a union has been recognized or a valid election occurred within the previous 12 months. This means that once a union has been recognized or a valid election has taken place, there is a 12-month period where picketing for organizational and recognition purposes is not allowed. This is likely to ensure stability and give the recognized union or elected representatives a fair chance to establish themselves before any further picketing activities can take place. Question 19. A company has a contest in which the work unit with the lowest accident rate each month is awarded with a pizza lunch and 2 hours off with pay. This is an example of Option A, incentive program. Option B, safety reinforcement. Option C, goal-oriented training. Option D, behavior modeling. The correct answer is option A, incentive program. Explanation. This scenario describes an incentive program where the company rewards the work unit with the lowest accident rate each month with a pizza lunch and 2 hours off with pay. An incentive program is designed to motivate and encourage employees to achieve certain goals or behaviors by offering rewards or incentives. In this case, the company is using the incentive of a pizza lunch and time off to promote safety and reduce accidents in the workplace. Question 20. An employer is set to lay off 520 employees. The layoff is expected to exceed 6 months. Under WARN, how much notice is the employer required to give its employees? Option A, WARN does not apply to this employer. Option B, 30 days. Option C, 60 days. Option D, 90 days. The correct answer is option C, 60 days. Explanation. Under the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification (WARN) Act, employers are required to give their employees at least 60 days' notice before a mass layoff or plant closure. This allows employees to have enough time to seek alternative employment or retraining opportunities. In this case, since the employer is set to lay off 520 employees, they would be required to give a 60-day notice to their employees. Question 21. The phases of training consist of Option A, analysis, development, design, evaluation, implementation. Option B, evaluation, analysis, development, design, implementation. Option C, analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation. Option D, development, design, implementation, analysis, evaluation. The correct answer is option A, analysis, development, design, evaluation, implementation. Explanation. Correct answer, analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation. The correct answer is analysis, design, development, implementation, evaluation. This sequence represents the phases of training in a logical order. First, the analysis phase involves identifying the training needs and goals. Then, the design phase focuses on creating a training plan and materials. Next, the development phase involves actually building the training program. After that, the implementation phase involves delivering the training to the participants. Finally, the evaluation phase assesses the effectiveness of the training and identifies areas for improvement. Question 22. Which statement about the SOX Act is false? Option A, it affects only accountants and lawyers. Option B, some sections affect all employers with SEC-registered stock. Option C, public stock companies may not make loans to executive officers or directors. Option D, it is an expansive act covering financial, audit and codes of conduct. The correct answer is option A. It affects only accountants and lawyers. Explanation. The statement it affects only accountants and lawyers is false because the SOX Act does not only affect accountants and lawyers. Some sections of the Act also affect all employers with SEC-registered stock, and public stock companies are prohibited from making loans to executive officers or directors. Additionally, the Act is expansive as it covers financial, audit, and codes of conduct. Question 23. Which of the following is not a variable pay plan? Option A, individual phone company employees receive extra pay if they sell special calling features to customers. Option B, sales representatives have a significant portion of their pay in the form of commissions tied to performance. Option C, executives receive stock options tied to long-term performance of their firms. Option D, a non-exempt employee works over 40 hours. The correct answer is option D. A non-exempt employee works over 40 hours. Explanation. The given answer, a non-exempt employee works over 40 hours, is not a variable pay plan because it does not involve any form of additional pay or compensation based on performance or specific targets. It simply refers to an employee working more than the standard 40 hours, which may entitle them to overtime pay or other benefits as per labor laws. Question 24. Decentralization is recommended for organizations where? Option A, the operating unit staff performs organizational tasks completely. Option B, there is a need for corporate-level economy of scale and uniform policy. Option C, there is a need for contract negotiations with external agents. Option D, decision-making is complex. The correct answer is option A. The operating unit staff performs organizational tasks completely. Explanation. Decentralization is recommended for organizations where the operating unit staff performs organizational tasks completely because it allows for greater autonomy and decision-making power at the unit level. When the staff is capable of handling all tasks independently, decentralization can help improve efficiency and responsiveness. It also enables faster decision-making, as decisions can be made at the unit level without having to go through multiple layers of hierarchy. Additionally, decentralization allows for better utilization of local knowledge and expertise, leading to more effective problem-solving and innovation at the unit level. Question 25. Which of the following actions would most likely be considered to be a discriminatory act? Option A, refusing to hire a female in a private for-profit business with 8 male employees. Option B, a seniority-based pay system. Option C, requiring disabled employees to perform the essential functions of their job. Option D, replacing a 60-year-old employee with a 42-year-old employee. The correct answer is option D, replacing a 60-year-old employee with a 42-year-old employee. Explanation. Replacing a 60-year-old employee with a 42-year-old employee would most likely be considered a discriminatory act. Age discrimination is prohibited by law and it is illegal to make employment decisions based on an individual's age. Question 26. Your star computer programmer holds the keys to the kingdom of your entire computer network in his head. His daughter is diagnosed with leukemia and he requests FMLA leave to care for her. Your employee returns at the end of 8 weeks and requests to be reinstated. Are you required to reinstate him? Option A, no, he is a key employee. Option B, yes, leukemia is a serious health condition. Option C, no, since he did not report in, you replaced him. Option D, no, since he did not give the minimum 30 days notice. The correct answer is option B. Yes, leukemia is a serious health condition. Explanation. Correct answer, yes, leukemia is a serious health condition. The correct answer is yes, leukemia is a serious health condition. Under the Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA, an employee is entitled to take up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave in a 12-month period to care for a serious health condition of a family member. Leukemia is considered a serious health condition, and therefore the employee is eligible for FMLA leave to care for his daughter. As a result, the employer is required to reinstate him at the end of his leave. Question 27. Which agency is responsible for ensuring that federal contractors and subcontractors have non-discriminatory practices? Option A, ERISA. Option B, EEOC. Option C, OFP. Option D, FLSA. The correct answer is option C, OFP. Explanation. The Office of Federal Contract Compliance Programs, OFP, is responsible for ensuring that federal contractors and subcontractors have non-discriminatory practices. They enforce equal employment opportunity and affirmative action requirements for these contractors, ensuring that they do not discriminate against employees or applicants based on factors such as race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, national origin, disability, or veteran status. The OFP conducts compliance evaluations, investigates complaints, and provides guidance and resources to help contractors meet their obligations. Question 28. An exemption that allows employers to purposefully exclude a protected group member from employment is: Option A, AAP. Option B, OFP. Option C, BFOQ. Option D, EEOC. The correct answer is option C, BFOQ. Explanation. BFOQ stands for Bona Fide Occupational Qualification. It is an exemption that allows employers to purposefully exclude a protected group member from employment if their inclusion would interfere with the essence of the job. This means that employers can discriminate based on certain protected characteristics such as gender, religion, or national origin if it is necessary for the job's performance. However, it is important to note that BFOQ exemptions are very limited and must be justified by a legitimate occupational qualification. Question 29. The most basic activity of sound human resources practices is the blank. Option A, job evaluation. Option B, job selection. Option C, job ranking. Option D, job analysis. The correct answer is option D, job analysis. Explanation. Job analysis is the most basic activity of sound human resources practices because it involves systematically gathering and analyzing information about the tasks, responsibilities, and requirements of a job. This information is essential for various heart rate functions such as recruitment, selection, training, performance management, and compensation. Job analysis helps in understanding the knowledge, skills, and abilities required for a job, determining the job's worth, and ensuring that the right candidates are selected for the job. It also helps in identifying training needs and evaluating employee performance. Thus, job analysis forms the foundation for effective heart rate practices. Question 30. A unique capability in the organization that creates high value and that differentiates the organization from its competition. Option A, SWOT. Option B, organizational culture. Option C, core competency. Option D, differentiation. The correct answer is option C, core competency. Explanation. Core competency refers to a unique capability or set of skills that an organization possesses, which creates high value and sets it apart from its competitors. It is something that the organization excels at and is difficult for competitors to replicate. This distinct advantage allows the organization to deliver superior products or services, leading to a competitive edge in the market. In contrast, SWOT analysis is a strategic planning tool used to assess an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Organizational culture refers to the shared values, beliefs, and norms within an organization. Differentiation is the process of distinguishing a product or service from others in the market. Question 31. The employment at will doctrine has been eroded by all of the following except: Option A, right to work. Option B, implied contract. Option C, public policy exception. Option D, covenant of good faith exception. The correct answer is option A, right to work. Explanation. The employment at will doctrine has been eroded by all of the following except for right to work. Right to work laws allow employees to work in a unionized workplace without having to join or financially support the union. However, this does not directly impact the employment at will doctrine, which states that employers can terminate employees at any time and for any reason, as long as it is not illegal or discriminatory. The erosion of the doctrine is primarily influenced by the implied contract, public policy exception, and covenant of good faith exception, which provide certain protections to employees against arbitrary or unjust terminations. Question 32. The simplest and most popular performance appraisal technique is: Option A, graphic rating scale. Option B, critical incident. Option C, forced distribution. Option D, compensable factors. The correct answer is option A, a graphic rating scale. Explanation. The graphic rating scale is the simplest and most popular performance appraisal technique because it involves rating employees on specific traits or behaviors using a scale. It allows managers to assess performance based on predetermined criteria and provides a clear and objective evaluation. This technique is easy to understand and implement, making it widely used in organizations. Question 33. Collective bargaining issues that fall within the NLRA's definition of wages, hours, and other terms and conditions of employment are classified as what type of issues? Option A, permissive. Option B, voluntary. Option C, mandatory. Option D, prohibited. The correct answer is option C, mandatory. Explanation. Collective bargaining issues that fall within the NLRA's definition of wages, hours, and other terms and conditions of employment are classified as mandatory issues. This means that both the employer and the labor union are required to negotiate and reach an agreement on these issues. They cannot be ignored or refused by either party during the collective bargaining process. Question 34. Title VII states that employers cannot discriminate based on all except Option A, age. Option B, sex. Option C, race. Option D, religion. The correct answer is option A, age. Explanation. Correct answer, age. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 prohibits employers from discriminating against employees based on their age, sex, race, or religion. Therefore, the correct answer is age because employers are not allowed to discriminate against employees based on their age. Question 35. The exhibited characteristics of an employee which includes their KSAs is defined as blank. Option A, competencies. Option B, compensable factors. Option C, effort. Option D, experience. The correct answer is option A, competencies. Explanation. Competencies refer to the exhibited characteristics of an employee, including their knowledge, skills, and abilities, KSAs. It encompasses the combination of technical expertise, interpersonal skills, and problem-solving abilities that an individual possesses. Competencies are essential for job performance and success, as they determine an employee's ability to effectively carry out their responsibilities and contribute to the organization's goals. Question 36. 100 applicants were interviewed for 10 vacancies in a manufacturing plant. 6 out of 60 white males, 1 out of 20 African American males and 2 out of 20 female applicants are hired. The selection procedure resulted in Option A, adverse impact upon African American males. Option B, adverse impact upon females. Option C, adverse impact upon both African American males and females. Option D, no adverse impact. The correct answer is option A, adverse impact upon African American males. Explanation. The selection procedure resulted in adverse impact upon African American males because out of the 20 African American male applicants, only 1 was hired. This means that the hiring rate for African American males is significantly lower compared to the hiring rate for white males and females. Adverse impact refers to a situation where a particular group is disproportionately affected by an employment practice or policy. In this case, the low hiring rate for African American males suggests that they faced adverse impact in the selection process. Question 37. When a manager rates an employee low on all items because of one item such as occasional tardiness, this is what type of rater bias? Option A, rater bias. Option B, recent problem bias. Option C, horned error. Option D, strictness. The correct answer is option C, horned error. Explanation. Horned error is the correct answer because it refers to the tendency of a rater to rate an employee low on all items based on the negative impression of one specific item. In this case, the manager rates the employee low on all items due to occasional tardiness, which demonstrates the horned error bias. Question 38. An inexperienced manager must terminate a problem employee. Heart rate should. Option A, handle the termination to ensure that all applicable government regulations are met. Option B, be present during the termination to ensure correct procedures are followed. Option C, offer the manager training on handling problem employees and terminations effectively. Option D, conduct a performance evaluation based upon critically ranked behaviors. The correct answer is option C, offer the manager training on handling problem employees and terminations effectively. Explanation. Offering the manager training on handling problem employees and terminations effectively is the best course of action for heart rate in this situation. This will help the inexperienced manager gain the necessary skills and knowledge to handle the termination process correctly and effectively. It will also ensure that the manager is aware of the proper procedures and regulations to follow, minimizing the risk of any legal issues or non-compliance with government regulations. Conducting a performance evaluation based on critically ranked behaviors may be useful in other situations, but in this case, the focus should be on providing the manager with the necessary training and support. Question 39. The biggest challenge with psychological testing for human resource development is: Option A, that employees resent tests. Option B, the expense of administering them. Option C, interpreting the results. Option D, EEOC complaints. The correct answer is option C, interpreting the results. Explanation. Interpreting the results is the biggest challenge with psychological testing for human resource development. This is because psychological tests often provide complex and nuanced data, which requires expertise and experience to accurately analyze and understand. Misinterpreting the results can lead to incorrect assessments of employees' abilities, personalities, and potential for growth, which can have significant consequences for their career development and overall job satisfaction. Therefore, ensuring accurate and valid interpretations of psychological test results is crucial for effective human resource development. Question 40. Studying the variations of employment levels in an organization over several years is the function of: Option A, employment forecasts. Option B, trend analysis. Option C, labor turnover studies. Option D, ratio analysis. The correct answer is option B, a trend analysis. Explanation. Trend analysis involves studying the variations of employment levels in an organization over several years. It helps in identifying patterns, trends, and fluctuations in employment, which can provide valuable insights for future planning and decision-making. This analysis can help organizations understand their hiring and firing patterns, identify potential labor shortages or surpluses, and make informed predictions about future employment levels. By examining historical data, organizations can identify long-term trends and make adjustments to their workforce strategies accordingly. Question 41. The confined space entry standard may require which of the following? Option A, observers, attendants, and emergency rescue personnel. Option B, machine guarding. Option C, equipment operator proficiency training. Option D, general knowledge of infectious diseases. The correct answer is option A, observers, attendants, and emergency rescue personnel. Explanation. The confined space entry standard may require observers, attendants, and emergency rescue personnel because these individuals play a crucial role in ensuring the safety of workers entering confined spaces. Observers are responsible for continuously monitoring the conditions inside the confined space and alerting the workers and attendants of any potential hazards. Attendants are present outside the confined space and are responsible for communicating with the workers inside and initiating rescue procedures if necessary. Emergency rescue personnel are trained to respond quickly and effectively in case of an emergency or accident during confined space entry. Question 42. Which of the following statement is not a strategic role of heart rate management? Option A, planning. Option B, attainment of organizational objectives. Option C, viewing the strategic role of heart rate management in the same context as financial, technological, and other resources. Option D, implementing a new training program for managers. The correct answer is option D, implementing a new training program for managers. Explanation. Implementing a new training program for managers is not a strategic role of heart rate management because it is a tactical or operational responsibility. Strategic roles of heart rate management typically involve long-term planning, aligning heart rate practices with organizational objectives, and viewing heart rate as a strategic resource. While implementing a training program is important, it is not considered a strategic role as it focuses on a specific task rather than the broader organizational strategy. Question 43. Which of the following statements is an example of a job description? Option A, knowledge of the Japanese language. Option B, supervises 15 employees on the line. Option C, types 70 words per minute with no more than one error. Option D, able to conduct effective meetings. The correct answer is option B, is supervises 15 employees on the line. Explanation. The statement supervises 15 employees on the line is an example of a job description because it clearly outlines a specific task or responsibility that is expected of an individual in a job role. It indicates that the person is responsible for supervising a specific number of employees in a specific area or department. Question 44. Mental ability tests are used to measure. Option A, general level of intelligence. Option B, conceptual reasoning. Option C, ability of learning. Option D, general knowledge. The correct answer is option B, conceptual reasoning. Explanation. Mental ability tests are used to measure conceptual reasoning. These tests assess an individual's ability to think abstractly, solve problems, and understand complex ideas. They focus on evaluating a person's cognitive skills such as logical reasoning, critical thinking, and pattern recognition. General level of intelligence, ability of learning, and general knowledge are also important aspects of mental ability, but they are not the primary focus of these tests. Question 45. Blank are the fastest growing segment of the workforce. Option A, older workers. Option B, minorities. Option C, single mothers. Option D, single fathers. The correct answer is option A, older workers. Explanation. Older workers are the fastest growing segment of the workforce because of several factors. Firstly, the aging population means that there are more older individuals available to work. Additionally, improvements in healthcare and increased life expectancy have allowed people to work longer. Moreover, older workers bring a wealth of experience and knowledge to the workforce, making them valuable assets for companies. Finally, economic factors such as retirement savings not being sufficient and the need for additional income also contribute to older workers staying in the workforce longer. Question 46. Teams blank have been ruled to violate provisions of the NLRA. Option A, which include managers, supervisors, and employees. Option B, selected by and dominated by managers. Option C, organized for problem solving. Option D, who monitor productivity and quality. The correct answer is option B, selected by and dominated by managers. Explanation. Correct answer, selected by and dominated by managers. The correct answer is selected by and dominated by managers because this option suggests that the teams in question are chosen and controlled by managers, which implies that they may not have the autonomy or independence necessary to comply with the provisions of the NLRA. This can lead to a violation of the NLRA, which is designed to protect the rights of employees and ensure fair labor practices. Question 47. All of the following would be considered a human process intervention except Option A, conflict resolution. Option B, redesign jobs. Option C, team building exercises. Option D, leadership development. The correct answer is option B, redesign jobs. Explanation. Redesign jobs would not be considered a human process intervention because it involves making changes to the structure and design of jobs, rather than focusing on the human aspect of the process. Human process interventions typically involve interventions that aim to improve communication, collaboration, and relationships within a team or organization. Conflict resolution, team building exercises, and leadership development are all examples of interventions that focus on improving the human process within a team or organization. Question 48. International heart rate management practices focus heavily on Option A, selection, training and compensation. Option B, host countries' laws and regulations. Option C, technical competence. Option D, willingness of families to accept an overseas assignment. The correct answer is option A, selection, training, and compensation. Explanation. International heart rate management practices focus heavily on selection, training, and compensation because these are crucial aspects of managing a global workforce. Selection involves choosing the right employees for international assignments who possess the necessary skills and cultural adaptability. Training is important to ensure that employees are equipped with the knowledge and skills required to work effectively in a foreign environment. Compensation is essential to attract and retain talented individuals for overseas assignments, as it often involves additional benefits and allowances to compensate for the challenges and risks associated with working abroad. Question 49. An employee travels to Chicago for an overnight trip for work. The employee asked for and received permission to drive his car instead of using the public transportation that the employer offered. The drive to Chicago took the employee 6 hours. Public transportation would have taken 4 hours. How many hours should the employer treat as work time? Option A, the employer may treat as work time either 4 hours or 6 hours. Option B, the employer must treat as work time 6 hours. Option C, the employer must treat as work time 4 hours. Option D, the employer must take the average of 4 hours and 6 hours. The correct answer is option A. The employer may treat as work time either 4 hours or 6 hours. Explanation. The employer may treat as work time either 4 hours or 6 hours because the employee asked for and received permission to drive his car instead of using public transportation. Although public transportation would have taken 4 hours, the employee chose to drive, which took 6 hours. Therefore, the employer has the discretion to consider either the actual time taken, 6 hours, or the time it would have taken on public transportation, 4 hours, as work time. Question 50. A national corporation completed its first phase of diversity awareness training. Heart Rate has been asked to evaluate the training to identify any barriers to diversity initiatives and determine future training and support. Which research methodology would yield the best results? Option A, regression correlation analysis. Option B, running true experiments with experimental and control groups. Option C, gathering qualitative and quantitative information from training participants. Option D, interviewing training participants to discuss their reactions to the training. The correct answer is option C, gathering qualitative and quantitative information from training participants. Explanation. Gathering qualitative and quantitative information from training participants would yield the best results in evaluating the diversity awareness training. This approach allows Heart Rate to gather both subjective and objective data from the participants, providing a comprehensive understanding of their experiences and perceptions. Qualitative information can provide insights into participants' reactions, attitudes, and suggestions, while quantitative data can provide measurable indicators of the effectiveness of the training. By combining both types of information, Heart Rate can identify any barriers to diversity initiatives and make informed decisions regarding future training and support. Question 51. In a refusal to hire case involving assault, the union will have to prove blank. Option A, that employers are not obligated to hire SALTs. Option B, definite plans to hire and SALT was qualified. Option C, the employer violated the CBA. Option D, anti-union sentiments. The correct answer is option B, a definite plans to hire and SALT was qualified. Explanation. In a refusal to hire case involving assault, someone who was hired by an employer to disrupt union activities, the union will have to prove that there were definite plans to hire the SALT and that the SALT was qualified for the position. This means that the union needs to show that the employer had intentions to hire the SALT and that the SALT had the necessary qualifications for the job. This is important because it demonstrates that the employer intentionally refused to hire the SALT due to their anti-union sentiments or other discriminatory reasons. Question 52. One of your managers is a reservist and is out on military leave for over 181 days. Once released from her military duties, she does not show up for work until 2 months later, and in addition to demanding her old job back, she wants whatever increases that were given during evaluations while she was gone. You blank. Option A, terminate for job abandonment. Option B, return employee to old job or similar position, no increase in pay. Option C, return employee to old job or similar position with increase in pay, if applicable. Option D, offer employee a lower level position at the same rate of pay since there is not a management position available. The correct answer is option C, return employee to old job or similar position with increase in pay, if applicable. Explanation. Correct answer, to return the employee to their old job or a similar position with an increase in pay, if applicable. The correct answer is to return the employee to their old job or a similar position with an increase in pay, if applicable. This is because the employee is protected by the Uniformed Services Employment and Re-employment Rights Act, USERRA, which states that individuals who leave their jobs for military service must be reemployed in the same or a similar position upon their return. Additionally, if the employee missed out on any increases in pay during their absence, it is fair to provide them with those increases upon their return. Question 53. Which statement is true about an organization that does not report a compliance breach without delay? Option A, the ethics program is ineffective. Option B, the ethics program is incomplete. Option C, the company must prove periodic audits of risks. Option D, the company does not have an ethics program. The correct answer is option D. The company does not have an ethics program. Explanation. Correct answer. The company does not have an ethics program. If an organization does not report a compliance breach without delay, it suggests that the company does not have an ethics program in place. Reporting compliance breaches promptly is a fundamental aspect of an effective ethics program. By not reporting the breach, the organization is failing to uphold ethical standards and demonstrate a commitment to transparency and accountability. Therefore, the correct answer is that the company does not have an ethics program. Question 54. An employee resigns because the employer has made the working conditions intolerable. This is an example of Option A, retaliatory discharge. Option B, disparate treatment. Option C, constructive discharge. Option D, hostile work environment. The correct answer is option C, constructive discharge. Explanation. Constructive discharge occurs when an employee is forced to resign from their job due to intolerable working conditions created by the employer. In this scenario, the employee resigns because the employer has made the working conditions intolerable, indicating that it is an example of constructive discharge. Question 55. The act which limited the issuance of federal court injunctions against labor disputes and yellow dog contracts was the Option A, Norris-LaGuardia Act. Option B, Sherman Antitrust Act. Option C, Wagner Act. Option D, Civil Rights Act. The correct answer is option A, Norris-LaGuardia Act. Explanation. The Norris-LaGuardia Act limited the issuance of federal court injunctions against labor disputes and yellow dog contracts. This act was passed in 1932 to protect the rights of workers to engage in collective bargaining and strike without interference from employers. It aimed to address the imbalance of power between labor and management by restricting the use of injunctions, which were often used by employers to suppress labor movements. The act played a significant role in promoting the growth of labor unions and protecting workers' rights. Question 56. Which type of organizational structure would be most effective for maintaining centralized authority and accountability of specialized departments? Option A, line and staff. Option B, functional. Option C, divisional. Option D, matrix. The correct answer is option B, functional. Explanation. Functional organizational structure would be most effective for maintaining centralized authority and accountability of specialized departments. This structure groups employees based on their specific functions or areas of expertise, such as marketing, finance, or operations. Each department is headed by a functional manager who has authority and accountability for that specific area. This allows for clear lines of authority and ensures that each department is focused on its specialized tasks, while also maintaining centralized control and coordination. Question 57. In developing a security program, an heart rate manager must assess potential risks and costs related to loss and protection. In carrying out this assessment, the first factor that should be analyzed is the Option A, severity of impact of loss to the organization. Option B, cost of loss, including a permanent or temporary substitute. Option C, degree of probability that loss will occur. Option D, availability and cost of insurance to cover loss. The correct answer is option C, degree of probability that loss will occur. Explanation. In developing a security program, assessing the degree of probability that loss will occur is the first factor that should be analyzed. This is because understanding the likelihood of potential risks allows the heart rate manager to prioritize and allocate resources effectively. By identifying the areas with higher probabilities of loss, the manager can focus on implementing appropriate measures to mitigate those risks. This analysis helps in making informed decisions about the allocation of resources and planning for the security program. Question 58. The systematic investigation of the tasks, duties, and responsibilities of a job is Option A, job evaluation. Option B, job description. Option C, job specification. Option D, job analysis. The correct answer is option D, job analysis. Explanation. Job analysis refers to the systematic investigation of the tasks, duties, and responsibilities of a job. It involves gathering and analyzing information about the nature of the job, including the skills, knowledge, and abilities required to perform it effectively. This process helps in understanding the job requirements, designing job descriptions and specifications, and evaluating the worth of a job in terms of its contribution to the organization. Job analysis is essential for various heart rate functions such as recruitment, selection, training, performance appraisal, and compensation. Question 59. In a unionized organization, which group of employees is more likely to have their own bargaining unit? Option A, security guards. Option B, janitors. Option C, electricians and other skilled employees. Option D, unskilled laborers. The correct answer is option A, security guards. Explanation. In a unionized organization, security guards are more likely to have their own bargaining unit. This is because security guards often have unique job responsibilities and requirements compared to other employees. They may require specialized training and certifications, and their role in maintaining the safety and security of the organization is crucial. Therefore, security guards may have specific needs and concerns that are best addressed through their own bargaining unit. Question 60. Job enlargement is the concept of: Option A, increasing the depth of the job. Option B, broadening the scope of the job. Option C, adding responsibility and challenge to the job. Option D, giving an employee an entire job to perform. The correct answer is option B, broadening the scope of the job. Explanation. Job enlargement is the concept of broadening the scope of the job. This means that additional tasks and responsibilities are added to an employee's current role, allowing them to take on a wider range of activities and challenges. This can help to increase job satisfaction, motivation, and skill development by providing employees with more variety and opportunities for growth within their current position. Question 61. The three key elements included in a job analysis are: Option A, responsibilities, tasks, reporting structure. Option B, knowledge, skills, abilities. Option C, competencies, qualifications, job description. Option D, reporting structure, pay range, essential job functions. The correct answer is option B, knowledge, skills, abilities. Explanation. A job analysis involves identifying the knowledge, skills, and abilities required for a particular job. This includes understanding the specific knowledge that is necessary to perform the job effectively, the skills that are needed to carry out the tasks, and the abilities or personal attributes that are required to succeed in the role. By analyzing these three elements, employers can ensure that they have a clear understanding of the requirements of the job and can make informed decisions about recruitment, training, and performance evaluation. Question 62. Under APA, what length of time must an employer give to an employee to consider whether to sign a waiver of their rights under ADEA? Option A, at least 15 days. Option B, at least 21 days. Option C, at least 30 days. Option D, at least 45 days. The correct answer is option B, at least 21 days. Explanation. Under the ALPA, Older Workers Benefit Protection Act, an employer must give an employee at least 21 days to consider whether to sign a waiver of their rights under the ADEA, Age Discrimination in Employment Act. This time period allows the employee to carefully review the terms of the waiver and consult with an attorney or advisor if desired. It is important to provide employees with sufficient time to make an informed decision regarding the waiver of their rights. Question 63. A useful way to measure organizational heart rate productivity is by unit labor cost, defined as the blank. Option A, average cost of workers divided by their average levels of output. Option B, average cost of output divided by the total cost of labor. Option C, total cost of labor divided by the total levels of output. Option D, total cost of output divided by the average cost of labor. The correct answer is option A, average cost of workers divided by their average levels of output. Explanation. Correct answer, average cost of workers divided by their average levels of output. The correct answer is average cost of workers divided by their average levels of output. This measure, known as unit labor cost, calculates the average cost of each worker in relation to their average output. By dividing the cost of workers by their levels of output, organizations can assess the efficiency and productivity of their heart rate department. A lower unit labor cost indicates higher productivity, as it means that workers are producing more output relative to their cost. Question 64. Generally speaking, what types of bonus payments must be included in the calculation of a non-exempt employee's pay when figuring overtime premium under federal FLSA? Option A, attendance bonuses. Option B, production and incentive bonuses. Option C, attendance, production, and incentive bonuses. Option D, discretionary bonuses. The correct answer is option C, attendance, production, and incentive bonuses. Explanation. Correct answer, attendance, production, and incentive bonuses. The correct answer is attendance, production, and incentive bonuses. According to federal FLSA regulations, these types of bonuses must be included in the calculation of a non-exempt employee's pay when determining overtime premium. Discretionary bonuses, on the other hand, are not required to be included in the calculation. Question 65. A privately owned consulting firm with a staff of 65 provides healthcare benefits to its employees. What requirements does COBRA impose related to continuation of healthcare coverage? Option A, coverage for up to 24 months if termination is involuntary but for reasons other than gross misconduct. Option B, spouses and dependent children can continue coverage for 36 months in the case of divorce. Option C, former employees can continue coverage for 12 months in cases of voluntary termination of employment. Option D, coverage must be discontinued when a former employee becomes eligible for medical insurance from a new employer. The correct answer is option B, spouses and dependent children can continue coverage for 36 months in the case of divorce. Explanation. COBRA imposes the requirement that spouses and dependent children of employees can continue to receive healthcare coverage for a period of 36 months in the event of a divorce. This means that even after the divorce, the consulting firm is obligated to provide healthcare benefits to the ex-spouse and dependent children for a period of 3 years. Question 66. The findings of a workflow analysis show that communication between departments is a problem. Which of the following approaches will best solve this problem? Option A, limit reporting to the proper channels. Option B, provide bonuses for improved performance. Option C, eliminate middle management positions. Option D, redesign jobs and department structure. The correct answer is option D, redesign jobs and department structure. Explanation. Redesigning jobs and department structure will best solve the problem of communication between departments. By restructuring the organization, departments can be realigned and roles can be redesigned to promote better communication and collaboration between different departments. This approach addresses the root cause of the problem and aims to create a more efficient and effective workflow that encourages communication and cooperation among departments. Question 67. Can an employer deduct hourly amounts from an exempt employee's salary for FMLA leave? Option A, the employer may make deductions from the employee's salary for any hours. Option B, the employer may not make deductions from the employee's salary. Option C, the employer may make deductions for hours taken as intermittent FMLA leave. Option D, it depends on company policy. The correct answer is option C. The employer may make deductions for hours taken as intermittent FMLA leave. Explanation. Correct answer, that the employer may make deductions for hours taken. The correct answer is that the employer may make deductions for hours taken as intermittent FMLA leave. This means that if an exempt employee takes FMLA leave in increments of less than a full workweek, the employer is allowed to deduct the hourly amounts for the hours that the employee is absent due to FMLA leave. This is because intermittent FMLA leave allows employees to take time off in smaller increments for medical reasons, and the employer is permitted to deduct the corresponding hourly amounts from the employee's salary for these absences. Question 68. Common components of executive compensation are: Option A, salaries, long-term incentives, perquisites, annual bonuses. Option B, salaries, long-term incentives, golden handcuffs, pay for performance. Option C, salaries, long and short-term incentives, annual bonuses, cost savings. Option D, salaries, golden parachute, quarterly and annual bonuses. The correct answer is option A, salaries, long-term incentives, perquisites, annual bonuses. Explanation. The common components of executive compensation include salaries, long-term incentives, perquisites, and annual bonuses. Salaries are the fixed amount paid to executives for their services. Long-term incentives are rewards that are tied to the company's performance over a longer period of time, such as stock options or equity grants. Perquisites, also known as perks, are additional benefits or privileges provided to executives, such as company cars or housing allowances. Annual bonuses are variable payments given to executives based on their individual or company performance in a specific year. Question 69. The purpose of blank is to change the attitudes, values, and beliefs of employees for the objective of identifying and implementing change. Option A, organizational development. Option B, behavior modeling. Option C, assessment centers. Option D, team building. The correct answer is option A, organizational development. Explanation. Organizational development is the correct answer because it focuses on changing the attitudes, values, and beliefs of employees in order to identify and implement change within the organization. This process involves various interventions such as training, coaching, and team building activities to improve organizational effectiveness and achieve desired outcomes. It aims to create a positive and supportive work environment that promotes continuous learning, growth, and adaptability to change. Question 70. This type of bargaining occurs when one party must win and the other must lose over a conflicting issue. Option A, distributive bargaining. Option B, integrative bargaining. Option C, principal negotiation. Option D, intra-organizational bargaining. The correct answer is option A, distributive bargaining. Explanation. Distributive bargaining occurs when there is a fixed amount of resources or value to be divided between two parties, and one party's gain is directly proportional to the other party's loss. In this type of bargaining, the focus is on claiming as much value as possible for oneself, often resulting in a win-lose outcome. It is characterized by a competitive and adversarial approach, where each party tries to maximize their own share at the expense of the other party. Question 71. Which phase of the system's approach to training focuses on identifying training needs and objectives? Option A, implementation. Option B, evaluation. Option C, design. Option D, assessment. The correct answer is option D, assessment. Explanation. The assessment phase of the system's approach to training focuses on identifying training needs and objectives. This phase involves conducting a thorough analysis of the organization's current training needs and determining the specific objectives that need to be achieved through the training program. It includes assessing the skills and knowledge gaps of the employees and determining the specific areas that need to be addressed through training. This phase is crucial in ensuring that the training program is designed to meet the specific needs of the organization and its employees. Question 72. According to Hackman and Oldham, which of the following describes task identity? Option A, the amount of clear information received about how well or how poorly a job has been performed. Option B, the extent to which the job requires a whole, identifiable unit of work. Option C, the extent of individual freedom and discretion in the work and its scheduling. Option D, the extent to which the job has a substantial impact on other people. The correct answer is option B, the extent to which the job requires a whole, identifiable unit of work. Explanation. Task identity refers to the extent to which a job requires a whole, identifiable unit of work. In other words, it describes whether a job allows an individual to see the complete outcome of their work, from start to finish. This means that individuals with high task identity have a clear understanding of the specific task they are responsible for and can see how their efforts contribute to the overall goal or end result. Question 73. According to reinforcement theory, the reinforcement an individual receives from an action is: Option A, primarily based on internal rewards. Option B, primarily based on external rewards. Option C, based on either internal or external rewards. Option D, primarily based on internal equity. The correct answer is option C, based on either internal or external rewards. Explanation. According to reinforcement theory, the reinforcement an individual receives from an action can be based on either internal or external rewards. This means that individuals may be motivated by both internal factors, such as personal satisfaction or a sense of accomplishment, as well as external factors, such as praise or monetary rewards. The theory suggests that the anticipation of these rewards can influence behavior and increase the likelihood of certain actions being repeated. Question 74. A new employee who has only worked for 2 weeks enters your office with a doctor's note. He is requesting a medical LOA for 1 month to get treatment for a chronic heart condition. Are you required to grant him leave under the ADA? Option A, no, the employee has not met the minimum working hours required for leave entitlement. Option B, no, the employee has not met the employer's internal policy for leave entitlement. Option C, the employee may possibly be granted leave if his heart condition substantially limits him in a major life activity. Option D, the employee is not entitled to leave. You transfer him to an open position at his regular rate of pay. The correct answer is option C. The employee may possibly be granted leave if his heart condition substantially limits him in a major life activity. Explanation. Correct answer, that the employee may possibly be granted leave if his heart condition substantially limits him in a major life activity. The correct answer is that the employee may possibly be granted leave if his heart condition substantially limits him in a major life activity. This is because under the ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, employees are entitled to reasonable accommodations for their disabilities, which can include medical leave. However, in order to qualify for this accommodation, the employee's heart condition must substantially limit him in a major life activity. The other options are incorrect because they do not consider the employee's potential eligibility for leave under the ADA. Question 75. Which of the following is considered a threat of reprisal on the part of an employer during a union organizing campaign? Option A. The company promises to remedy grievances as the election nears. Option B. The company states in a meeting that unionization will lead to a strike and loss of jobs. Option C. The company states that recent collective bargaining agreements have sometimes resulted in a reduction in benefits. Option D. The company questions employees regarding knowledge of union activities. The correct answer is option B. The company states in a meeting that unionization will lead to a strike and loss of jobs. Explanation. The company stating in a meeting that unionization will lead to a strike and loss of jobs is considered a threat of reprisal on the part of an employer during a union organizing campaign. This statement implies that if employees choose to unionize, it will result in negative consequences such as a strike and potential job loss. This can be seen as an attempt to intimidate and discourage employees from supporting the union, thus interfering with their right to organize. Question 76. A validity study, either predictive or concurrent, in which the predictor data are statistically correlated criteria of performance. Option A, content validity. Option B, criterion-related validity. Option C, concurrent validity. Option D, construct validity. The correct answer is option B, a criterion-related validity. Explanation. Criterion-related validity is the correct answer because it refers to the extent to which a predictor, such as a test or assessment, is able to accurately predict or correlate with a specific criterion or outcome measure. In this case, the predictor data, which could be the results of a test or assessment, are statistically correlated with criteria of performance, indicating the extent to which the predictor is valid in predicting or measuring performance. This type of validity study can be either predictive, where the predictor data is collected before the criterion data, or concurrent, where both types of data are collected simultaneously. Question 77. Content validity is the extent to which a selection device measures blank. Option A, differences between good performers and poor performers. Option B, personality traits that are related to job performance. Option C, knowledge, skills, and abilities used on the job. Option D, experience as a predictor of job success. The correct answer is option C, knowledge, skills, and abilities used on the job. Explanation. Correct answer, knowledge, skills, and abilities used on the job. Content validity refers to the degree to which a selection device accurately measures the specific knowledge, skills, and abilities that are relevant and necessary for performing a particular job. In other words, it assesses whether the selection device effectively captures the essential competencies required for successful job performance. This means that the correct answer is knowledge, skills, and abilities used on the job because content validity ensures that the selection device is aligned with the specific requirements of the job and accurately measures the relevant attributes. Question 78. A technique that avoids groupthink in forecasting heart rate needs is: Option A, judgmental forecasting. Option B, bottom-up forecasting. Option C, Delphi. Option D, nominal group. The correct answer is option C, Delphi. Explanation. The Delphi technique is a method that helps avoid groupthink in forecasting heart rate needs. It involves gathering input from a panel of experts anonymously, allowing each expert to provide their independent judgments and opinions without being influenced by others. The experts' responses are then collected, summarized, and shared back with the group for further discussion and revision. This iterative process helps to eliminate biases and encourages a more objective and accurate forecast by considering a diverse range of perspectives. Question 79. The process for assigning non-financial and financial goals to human resource management functions is required to attain the organization's strategic goals and objectives, and the continuous monitoring of such results is known as the blank. Option A, heart rate run chart. Option B, heart rate scattergram. Option C, heart rate audit. Option D, heart rate scorecard. The correct answer is option D, heart rate scorecard. Explanation. The heart rate scorecard is a process that involves assigning both non-financial and financial goals to the human resource management functions in order to achieve the organization's strategic goals and objectives. It also includes continuously monitoring the results of these goals and objectives. The heart rate scorecard provides a comprehensive view of the heart rate department's performance and its contribution to the overall success of the organization. It helps align heart rate activities with the strategic goals of the organization and ensures that heart rate practices are effective and efficient. Question 80. How does a no-fault attendance policy interact with ADA and FMLA? Option A, a no-fault policy is always in conflict with FMLA and ADA. Option B, only ADA addresses no fault. Option C, a no-fault policy is never in conflict with FMLA and ADA. Option D, only FMLA addresses no fault. The correct answer is option D, only FMLA addresses no fault. Explanation. Correct answer, only FMLA addresses no fault. The correct answer is only FMLA addresses no fault. This means that the Family and Medical Leave Act, FMLA, specifically addresses the issue of a no-fault attendance policy. It suggests that the FMLA provides guidelines or regulations regarding how a no-fault policy should be implemented or considered in relation to employee absences due to family or medical reasons. The Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, may not have specific provisions addressing no-fault policies, making it less relevant in this context. Question 81. Which of the following is an example of construct validity? Option A, administrative assistants with college degrees are compared to administrative assistants without degrees. Option B, flight controllers are tested for leadership and critical thinking skills. Option C, computer programmers are asked to debug a section of code. Option D, new hires are tested, and their job performances are later compared to the test results. The correct answer is option B, flight controllers are tested for leadership and critical thinking skills. Explanation. The example of construct validity in this question is when flight controllers are tested for leadership and critical thinking skills. Construct validity refers to the extent to which a test or measurement accurately measures the theoretical construct or concept it is intended to measure. In this case, the test is designed to assess the leadership and critical thinking skills of flight controllers, which aligns with the construct being measured. This demonstrates construct validity as the test is measuring what it is supposed to measure. Question 82. Under USERA, it is true that blank. Option A, returning employees are entitled to re-employment rights and benefits only if eligibility requirements are met. Option B, employers may not require documentation. Option C, a service member is protected from RIFs. Option D, re-employment requirements are less generous than ADA. The correct answer is option A, returning employees are entitled to re-employment rights and benefits only if eligibility requirements are met. Explanation. Under USERA, returning employees are entitled to re-employment rights and benefits only if they meet the eligibility requirements. This means that they must meet certain criteria in order to be eligible for re-employment, such as providing proper notice to their employer and not exceeding the maximum length of service. If these requirements are not met, the employee may not be entitled to re-employment rights and benefits under USERA. Question 83. Which of the following methods of calculating the 12 weeks of leave under FMLA avoids the potential for? Option A, calendar year. Option B, any fixed 12-month period, such as anniversary date or fiscal year. Option C, a rolling 12-month period, measured backward from the date FMLA leave last used. Option D, a rolling 12-month period, measured forward from the date FMLA leave first used. The correct answer is option C, a rolling 12-month period, measured backward from the date FMLA leave last used. Explanation. A rolling 12-month period, measured backward from the date FMLA leave last used, avoids the potential for stacking because it ensures that an employee can only take 12 weeks of leave within a 12-month period. This method prevents employees from taking multiple blocks of leave within a short time frame by measuring the 12-month period from the last time FMLA leave was used. This ensures that employees are not able to stack or accumulate leave time by taking multiple periods of leave close together. Question 84. A manager always hires young women as receptionists. This is an example of Option A, intentional discrimination. Option B, disparate treatment. Option C, disparate impact. Option D, hostile work environment. The correct answer is option B, disparate treatment. Explanation. This scenario describes disparate treatment, which occurs when an employer intentionally treats individuals differently based on their protected characteristics, such as age or gender. In this case, the manager intentionally hires young women as receptionists, indicating a preference for a specific group of individuals. This demonstrates disparate treatment because the manager is making hiring decisions based on discriminatory criteria. Question 85. Your employee was injured in an auto accident. She was given a copy of the benefits summary plan description when she was hired. Heart Rate informed her that she was eligible for STD, but suggested that she apply for benefits from her auto insurer instead because the payments were higher. When the benefits from the auto insurer ran out, the employee applied for LTD. The claim was denied as being untimely. Under ERISA, did you as the Heart Rate manager do too much, too little, or just enough? Option A, Heart Rate did enough, by providing the benefit summary plan description and offering advice. Option B, the employer fulfilled its obligation by providing the benefit summary plan description and offering advice. Option C, Heart Rate did too much by suggesting the employee take the auto insurer's benefits. Option D, the employer is obligated to provide complete insurance options whether the employee specifically requests the information or not. The correct answer is option D. The employer is obligated to provide complete insurance options whether the employee specifically requests the information or not. Explanation. Correct answer, that the employer is obligated to provide complete insurance options whether the employee specifically requests the information or not. The correct answer is that the employer is obligated to provide complete insurance options whether the employee specifically requests the information or not. This is because under ERISA, Employee Retirement Income Security Act, employers are required to provide employees with complete and accurate information about their benefits. By suggesting that the employee apply for benefits from her auto insurer instead of STD, Heart Rate did not fulfill their obligation to provide complete insurance options. Question 86. Organizations compute accident frequency and severity rates for reporting to OSHA except when figuring the blank. Option A, frequency of time off the job cases. Option B, number of lost workdays. Option C, number of injuries that respond to first aid treatment. Option D, number of deaths. The correct answer is option C, number of injuries that respond to first aid treatment. Explanation. Organizations compute accident frequency and severity rates for reporting to OSHA except when figuring the number of injuries that respond to first aid treatment. This is because injuries that respond to first aid treatment are generally considered to be less severe and do not result in significant time off from work or loss of productivity. Therefore, they are not included in the calculation of accident frequency and severity rates, which are typically used to assess the overall safety performance of an organization. Question 87. In the strategic heart rate planning process, which of the following should be completed first? Option A, define the organizational mission. Option B, scan the environment. Option C, forecast internal heart rate supply and demand. Option D, complete a human resource inventory. The correct answer is option A, define the organizational mission. Explanation. In the strategic heart rate planning process, defining the organizational mission should be completed first. This is because the organizational mission sets the overall direction and goals for the organization, which will then guide the heart rate planning process. Without a clear understanding of the mission, it would be difficult to align heart rate strategies and activities with the organization's objectives. Once the mission is defined, the heart rate team can then proceed to scan the environment, forecast internal heart rate supply and demand, and complete a human resource inventory. Question 88. The most appropriate method for training senior management to handle critical decision-making is: Option A, lecture. Option B, self-study. Option C, simulation. Option D, on-the-job training. The correct answer is option C, simulation. Explanation. Simulation is the most appropriate method for training senior management to handle critical decision-making because it provides a realistic and immersive environment where managers can practice making decisions in a risk-free setting. This method allows them to experience the consequences of their decisions and learn from their mistakes without any real-world impact. Simulations also help in developing critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making skills by presenting complex scenarios that closely resemble the challenges faced in real life situations. By actively participating in simulations, senior management can gain valuable experience and confidence in handling critical decision-making processes. Question 89. Which of the following does not apply to individuals trying to prove a prima facie case of disparate treatment? Option A. Belong to a minority group or are in a protected class and applied for a job for which the employer belong to a minority group or are in a protected class and applied for a job for which the employer was seeking applicants. Option B. Employer did not offer a reasonable accommodation. Option C. Rejected and the employer kept looking for people with their qualifications. Option D. Rejected, despite being qualified. The correct answer is option B. Employer did not offer a reasonable accommodation. Explanation. Individuals trying to prove a prima facie case of disparate treatment do not need to show that the employer did not offer a reasonable accommodation. Disparate treatment refers to a situation where an employer treats individuals differently based on their protected characteristics. To prove a prima facie case, the individual needs to show that they belong to a minority group or protected class, applied for a job the employer was seeking applicants for, were rejected despite being qualified, and the employer kept looking for people with their qualifications. The requirement of reasonable accommodation is relevant in cases of disability discrimination, not disparate treatment. Question 90. After a series of scandals in the top spot, extramarital affairs, major ethics violations, and crippling sanctions by enforcement agencies, the company desperately needs an infusion of new leadership and integrity. The board of directors has given you the task of conducting a nationwide search to fill the top spot. The company's future hinges on your choice. Time is of the essence. The new executive and his family relocate from across the country while you're still negotiating the details of his employment. While meeting and greeting important people in the industry, he meets and greets a stripper, who runs up a $1,000 tab for room service on his company credit card. Word gets out, and the scandal snowballs. Industry trade publications report that in addition to seeking professional advice from this stripper, he also sought advice from the daughter of one of your biggest shareholders. The board says he must go. What are the legal implications? Option A. As a private employer, you cannot discipline or fire an employee for improper conduct away from work. Option B. The employee actions become your business when diminished credibility affects the employee's ability to do his job. Option C. As a private employer, the law requires you to give your employees a chance to respond to allegations of misconduct. Option D. Since the contract was still under negotiation, you may terminate the employee. The correct answer is option B. The employee actions become your business when diminished credibility affects the employee's ability to do his job. Explanation. Correct answer, that the employee actions become the company's business when diminished credibility affects the employee's ability to do his job. The correct answer is that the employee actions become the company's business when diminished credibility affects the employee's ability to do his job. In this scenario, the executive's actions have caused a scandal and have negatively impacted the company's reputation. As a result, the employee's credibility has been diminished, which can affect his ability to effectively lead the company. Therefore, the board of directors has the right to terminate the employee based on the legal implication that his actions have directly affected his job performance and the company's future. Question 91. Recognition picketing is unlawful if: Option A. The union is the recognized union for the company's principal competitor. Option B. A valid NLRB election was conducted in the previous 18 months. Option C. Another union has been certified. Option D. A petition for an election has not been filed prior to the picketing. The correct answer is option C. Another union has been certified. Explanation. If another union has been certified, it means that there is already a recognized union for the company. In this case, recognition picketing by any other union would be unlawful because the company has already acknowledged and certified a union. Question 92. Heart rate staff and line management are collaborating on the design and development of a cross-functional team building training. Which of the following responsibilities is most appropriate for heart rate staff to assume? Option A. Provide experiences to describe performance problems. Option B. Schedule training around workloads. Option C. Establish an evaluation mechanism and expedite measurement. Option D. Determine which employees should participate in training. The correct answer is option C. Establish an evaluation mechanism and expedite measurement. Explanation. The most appropriate responsibility for heart rate staff to assume in the design and development of a cross-functional team building training is to establish an evaluation mechanism and expedite measurement. This means that heart rate staff should be responsible for creating a system to evaluate the effectiveness of the training and ensuring that the measurement process is efficient and timely. This task aligns with heart rate's expertise in performance evaluation and measurement, and it will help to assess the impact of the training on the team's development and performance. Question 93. Employers are responsible to ensure physical facilities are ADA compliant and to provide reasonable work-related accommodations. Which of the following statements are true? Option A, ADA applies to all public employers and to private employers with 25+ employees. Option B, ADA extends to the accessibility of your company's web pages. Option C, ADA applies to all private employers. Option D, employee must request an accommodation. The correct answer is option B, ADA extends to the accessibility of your company's web pages. Explanation. Correct answer, ADA extends to the accessibility of your company's web pages. The correct answer is ADA extends to the accessibility of your company's web pages. This means that under the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, employers are required to ensure that their company's web pages are accessible to individuals with disabilities. This includes making sure that the website is compatible with assistive technologies and providing alternative formats for individuals who may have difficulty accessing the information. The other statements are not true. The ADA applies to both public and private employers, regardless of the number of employees, and employees do not necessarily need to request an accommodation for the employer to be responsible for providing reasonable work-related accommodations. Question 94. In an age discrimination case, the U.S. Supreme Court issued an important ruling on June 18, 2009. The court ruling blank. Option A said that workers 40+ years old cannot sue for disparate impact discrimination. Option B was that employees can establish age discrimination by showing it was a motivating factor. Option C makes it easier for employees to prevail in age discrimination lawsuits. Option D was that the employees have the burden of proving that their age was the but-for cause of the employment decision. The correct answer is option D, was that the employees have the burden of proving that their age was the but-for cause of the employment decision. Explanation. Correct answer was that the employees have the burden of proving that their age was the but-for cause of the employment decision. The correct answer is that the employees have the burden of proving that their age was the but-for cause of the employment decision. This means that in an age discrimination case, the employees must show that their age was the primary reason for the adverse employment decision. This ruling makes it more difficult for employees to prevail in age discrimination lawsuits, as they now have the burden of proving causation. Question 95. Collective bargaining agreement should guarantee specific rights to the employer except: Option A, rights to determine what product or services they will produce. Option B, restrict the union's use of the company's property for union meetings. Option C, the employer cannot file charges against the union. Option D, the employer can discipline employees for just cause. The correct answer is option C. The employer cannot file charges against the union. Explanation. Correct answer, the employer cannot file charges against the union. The correct answer is the employer cannot file charges against the union. In a collective bargaining agreement, the employer typically has the right to determine what product or services they will produce, restrict the union's use of company property for union meetings, and discipline employees for just cause. However, the employer does not have the right to file charges against the union, as this would typically be the role of a regulatory or legal authority. Question 96. Employees on an international assignment generally need more training in: Option A, leadership development. Option B, safety and security. Option C, intranet technology. Option D, tax equalization laws. The correct answer is option B, safety and security. Explanation. Employees on an international assignment generally need more training in safety and security because they are likely to encounter unfamiliar environments and potential risks in foreign countries. This training is essential to ensure the well-being and protection of employees while they are working abroad. It helps them understand the potential threats they may face, such as crime, political instability, or natural disasters, and equips them with the necessary knowledge and skills to mitigate these risks. By prioritizing safety and security training, organizations can ensure the welfare of their employees and minimize any potential harm or disruptions to their international operations. Question 97. To decertify a union blank % of the employees blank must sign decertification authorization cards before an election can be held. Option A, 30, in the bargaining unit. Option B, 30, who voted for the union. Option C, 50, in the bargaining unit. Option D, 50, who voted for the union. The correct answer is option A, 30, in the bargaining unit. Explanation. To decertify a union, 30% of the employees in the bargaining unit must sign decertification authorization cards before an election can be held. Question 98. Which OSHA standard provides guidelines for preparing an emergency plan and includes specifications for unobstructed and continuous means of exit from any point in a building? Option A, means of egress standard. Option B, means of exit standard. Option C, disaster planning standard. Option D, lockout/tagout standard. The correct answer is option A, means of egress standard. Explanation. Correct answer, means of egress standard. The correct answer is means of egress standard. This standard, outlined by OSHA, provides guidelines for preparing an emergency plan and includes specifications for unobstructed and continuous means of exit from any point in a building. It ensures that there are proper pathways and exits in case of an emergency, allowing individuals to safely evacuate the building. Question 99. The management of a company conducting an internal investigation informed employees that they were required to take a polygraph test. 2 bartenders refused to take the test and were terminated. Was the company within its rights to terminate? Option A, yes, the company was within its rights to terminate the 2 employees for insubordination. Option B, no, the company violated the employees' First Amendment rights of the 2 employees and wrongfully terminated. Option C, not enough information to determine if the 2 employees were wrongfully terminated. Option D, no, the company was in violation of EPPA and wrongfully terminated the 2 employees. The correct answer is option D. No, the company was in violation of EPPA and wrongfully terminated the 2 employees. Explanation. Correct answer, no, the company was in violation of EPPA and wrongfully terminated the 2 employees. The correct answer is no, the company was in violation of EPPA and wrongfully terminated the 2 employees. The EPPA, Employee Polygraph Protection Act, prohibits most private employers from requiring employees to take polygraph tests for employment purposes. In this case, the company conducting the internal investigation violated the EPPA by requiring the employees to take a polygraph test. As a result, the termination of the 2 employees was considered wrongful. Question 100. Which Supreme Court decision established the requirement of employers to prove that education and testing activities used in the selection process are job-related? Option A, Griggs v. Duke Power. Option B, Albemarle Paper v. Moody. Option C, Washington v. Davis. Option D, Connecticut v. Teal. The correct answer is option A, Griggs v. Duke Power. Explanation. Griggs v. Duke Power is the correct answer because this Supreme Court decision established the requirement for employers to prove that education and testing activities used in the selection process are job-related. The case involved Duke Power Company, which required a high school diploma and a standardized test for employees to be eligible for certain positions. The Supreme Court ruled that these requirements had a disparate impact on African American employees and were not sufficiently job-related. This decision led to the development of the disparate impact theory, which holds employers accountable for discriminatory practices that disproportionately affect certain groups. Question 101. Policies are: Option A, customary methods of handling specific situations. Option B, situation-specific methods of handling activities. Option C, specific guidelines that regulate and restrict the behavior of individuals. Option D, general guidelines that regulate organizational actions. The correct answer is option D, general guidelines that regulate organizational actions. Explanation. Correct answer, general guidelines that regulate organizational actions. The correct answer is general guidelines that regulate organizational actions. This is because policies are not just customary methods or situation-specific methods, but rather they are specific guidelines that regulate and restrict the behavior of individuals within an organization. They provide a framework for decision-making and guide the actions and behaviors of employees in order to ensure consistency and compliance with organizational goals and values. Question 102. This method of job analysis can be quite time-consuming, and because of that, may best be used as a follow-up to another method. Option A, interviewing. Option B, questionnaire. Option C, observation. Option D, work sampling. The correct answer is option A, interviewing. Explanation. Interviewing is a method of job analysis that involves directly speaking with employees or supervisors to gather information about their job responsibilities, tasks, and requirements. This method can be time-consuming because it requires setting up and conducting interviews with multiple individuals. Therefore, it is best used as a follow-up to another method, such as observation or work sampling, which can provide initial information about the job. By using interviewing as a follow-up method, it allows for a more in-depth understanding of the job and ensures that all relevant information is gathered. Question 103. Which of the following learning strategies relies on deductive reasoning? Option A, tunnel. Option B, hourglass. Option C, funnel. Option D, inverted funnel. The correct answer is option D, inverted funnel. Explanation. Inverted funnel is the correct answer because it is a learning strategy that relies on deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning involves starting with general principles or theories and then applying them to specific situations or examples. In the case of an inverted funnel, learners begin with a broad topic or concept and gradually narrow it down to more specific details or examples. This approach allows learners to make logical connections and draw conclusions based on the information presented. Question 104. The blank pension plan is one in which an employee is promised a pension amount based on actuarial calculations. Option A, contributory. Option B, non-contributory. Option C, defined contribution. Option D, defined benefit. The correct answer is option D, defined benefit. Explanation. A defined benefit pension plan is one in which an employee is promised a pension amount based on actuarial calculations. This means that the amount of the pension is predetermined and guaranteed, regardless of the employee's contributions or the performance of the investments. The employer bears the investment risk and is responsible for ensuring that the promised pension amount is funded. This type of plan provides a secure and predictable retirement income for employees. Question 105. In which type of organization structure are both flexibility and informal relationships most emphasized? Option A, functional. Option B, matrix. Option C, line and staff. Option D, project. The correct answer is option B, matrix. Explanation. Matrix organization structure emphasizes both flexibility and informal relationships. In a matrix structure, employees report to both a functional manager and a project manager, allowing for cross-functional collaboration and the ability to work on multiple projects simultaneously. This structure promotes flexibility as employees can easily adapt to changing project requirements and priorities. Additionally, informal relationships are encouraged as employees from different departments and functions work closely together, fostering collaboration, communication, and knowledge sharing. Question 106. A graphical tool representing the Option A, critical incident chart. Option B, strategy map. Option C, control graph. Option D, organizational outcomes chart. The correct answer is option B, a strategy map. Explanation. A strategy map is a graphical tool that provides a visual representation of how the performance of each department or business unit contributes to the achievement of an organization's strategic goals. It helps to identify the key objectives, initiatives, and measures that are necessary to drive success and aligns the efforts of different departments towards a common goal. By providing a holistic view of the organization's strategy, a strategy map enables better decision-making and resource allocation, ultimately leading to improved performance and outcomes. Question 107. The right to purchase a specific number of shares of company stock during a specific time frame and a specific price is known as blank. Option A, golden parachute. Option B, golden handcuffs. Option C, stock options. Option D, restricted stock options. The correct answer is option C, stock options. Explanation. Stock options refer to the right to purchase a specific number of shares of company stock within a specific time frame and at a specific price. This allows individuals to benefit from any increase in the stock's value over time. It is a common form of compensation offered to employees, providing them with an incentive to contribute to the company's success and aligning their interests with those of shareholders. Question 108. The supervisor who ignores the tardiness of a usually prompt employee so that the employee will not repeat the behavior is using the strategy of Option A, punishment. Option B, extinction. Option C, negative reinforcement. Option D, positive reinforcement. The correct answer is option B, extinction. Explanation. Extinction is the correct answer because it refers to the process of eliminating or reducing a behavior by ignoring it. In this scenario, the supervisor is purposely ignoring the tardiness of the employee in order to discourage them from repeating the behavior. By not giving any attention or consequences to the tardiness, the supervisor hopes that the employee will stop being late in the future. Question 109. Which of the following types of union security clauses require all new employees to join the union within a specified period of time? Option A, union shop. Option B, closed shop. Option C, maintenance of membership. Option D, agency shop. The correct answer is option A, union shop. Explanation. A union shop is a type of union security clause that requires all new employees to join the union within a specified period of time. This means that employees must become members of the union as a condition of their employment. The other options, closed shop, maintenance of membership, and agency shop, do not have this requirement. A closed shop requires all employees to be members of the union before they can be hired, while maintenance of membership requires employees to remain members of the union for the duration of their employment. An agency shop allows employees to choose whether or not to join the union, but requires them to pay union dues or a fee. Question 110. TBC blank. Option A is a ratio of benefit cost per employee to average number of employees. Option B is exclusive of miscellaneous items, such as education. Option C includes staff time, overhead, processing costs. Option D is expensive, time-consuming and difficult to calculate because it varies so much. The correct answer is option C, includes staff time, overhead, processing costs. Explanation. Correct answer includes staff time, overhead, processing costs. The correct answer is includes staff time, overhead, processing costs. This answer is supported by the information given in the question, which states that the ratio includes miscellaneous items and processing costs. It also mentions that calculating this ratio can be difficult due to its variability, further indicating that it includes various factors such as staff time and overhead. Question 111. Under the NLRA, when can the actions of a single individual be considered a protected concerted activity? Option A, if the employee was appointed by peers to represent the group's interests. Option B, if the activity is undertaken with the object of inducing group action, or bringing a group complaint to management's attention. Option C, the individual must be appointed by peers to bring a group complaint pertaining to the T&Cs of employment to management. Option D, the actions of a single individual is not a protected concerted activity. The correct answer is option B, if the activity is undertaken with the object of inducing group action, or bringing a group complaint to management's attention. Explanation. Correct answer, that the actions of a single individual can be considered a protected concerted activity if the activity is undertaken with the object of inducing group action or bringing a group complaint to management's attention. The correct answer is that the actions of a single individual can be considered a protected concerted activity if the activity is undertaken with the object of inducing group action or bringing a group complaint to management's attention. This means that even if only one person is taking action, if their intention is to rally others and address a common concern or issue, their actions can still be protected under the NLRA. It is not necessary for the individual to be appointed by peers or to bring a complaint specifically related to the terms and conditions of employment. Question 112. Which statement is true regarding when an entitlement culture would be appropriate? Option A, required skill set that is high in demand. Option B, demonstrated productivity increases over time. Option C, competitive in reaching quarterly goals. Option D, employees are getting close to retirement age. The correct answer is option B, demonstrated productivity increases over time. Explanation. An entitlement culture would be appropriate when there is a demonstrated productivity increase over time. This means that employees have consistently shown improvement and have proven their ability to perform at a higher level. In such a scenario, it may be reasonable to reward them with certain entitlements or privileges as a recognition of their hard work and dedication. Question 113. In which of the following organizational structures would it be hardest to replace the chief executive of finance with a generally trained manager from the same company? Option A, functional. Option B, matrix. Option C, line and staff. Option D, divisional. The correct answer is option A, functional. Explanation. In a functional organizational structure, employees are grouped based on their specific functions or areas of expertise. The chief executive of finance is responsible for overseeing the financial operations of the company. It would be hardest to replace this position with a generally trained manager from the same company in a functional structure because the role requires specialized knowledge and skills in finance. Generally trained managers may not have the necessary expertise to effectively perform the duties of the chief executive of finance in this structure. Question 114. Employee discipline should be viewed as: Option A, training that enforces organizational rules. Option B, an opportunity to improve. Option C, a progressive process leading to constructive discharge. Option D, performance management that is mutually agreed upon. The correct answer is option A, a training that enforces organizational rules. Explanation. Employee discipline should be viewed as training that enforces organizational rules because it implies that discipline is a means to educate employees about the rules and regulations of the organization. It suggests that discipline is not just about punishment, but also about teaching employees the correct way to behave and perform their job duties. This perspective emphasizes the importance of training and development in maintaining a disciplined and compliant workforce. Question 115. Under the NLRA, a company must grant union recognition to: Option A, only one union per bargaining unit. Option B, all unions receiving a majority vote of all employees voting in the representation election. Option C, the union who has proof of its majority status. Option D, a union who receives a 30% vote of all employees. The correct answer is option A, only one union per bargaining unit. Explanation. Under the National Labor Relations Act, NLRA, a company is required to grant union recognition to only one union per bargaining unit. This means that if multiple unions are seeking to represent the same group of employees, the company must choose and recognize only one of them. This ensures that there is a single representative for the employees in negotiations with the company, simplifying the bargaining process and avoiding potential conflicts between multiple unions. Question 116. Asking a candidate to talk about their responses to actual situations in the past is what type of interview? Option A, non-directed. Option B, stress. Option C, situational. Option D, behavioral. The correct answer is option D, a behavioral. Explanation. A behavioral interview is a type of interview where candidates are asked to provide specific examples from their past experiences to demonstrate their skills, abilities, and behaviors. This type of interview focuses on understanding how candidates have handled certain situations in the past, allowing the interviewer to assess their problem-solving skills, decision-making abilities, and how they would potentially perform in similar situations in the future. By asking candidates to talk about their responses to actual situations in the past, the interviewer can gain insight into their behavior and potential fit for the role. Question 117. Identifying that a performance deficiency does exist and the means for correcting it is the function of blank. Option A, needs analysis. Option B, performance analysis. Option C, functional analysis. Option D, training assessment. The correct answer is option B, performance analysis. Explanation. Performance analysis is the function of identifying that a performance deficiency exists and determining the means for correcting it. This process involves evaluating the current performance levels, identifying any gaps or areas of improvement, and then developing strategies or interventions to address these deficiencies. It helps organizations understand the root causes of performance issues and develop targeted solutions to improve performance outcomes. Needs analysis, functional analysis, and training assessment are related concepts but focus on different aspects of performance improvement. Question 118. Blank is, are, used by managers to determine which employees are available for promotion or transfer. Option A, personnel inventories. Option B, bottom-up forecasts. Option C, trend analysis. Option D, qualification inventories. The correct answer is option D, qualification inventories. Explanation. Qualification inventories are used by managers to determine which employees are available for promotion or transfer. These inventories provide information about the skills, qualifications, and experience of employees, allowing managers to assess their suitability for different positions within the organization. By reviewing qualification inventories, managers can identify employees who possess the necessary qualifications for advancement or transfer, making informed decisions about promotions and transfers based on the available talent pool. Question 119. All employers with blank or more employees, except state and local governments, must file the annual EEO-1 report form with the EEOC. Option A, 25. Option B, 50. Option C, 100. Option D, 150. The correct answer is option C, 100. Explanation. All employers with 100 or more employees, except state and local governments, are required to file the annual EEO-1 report form with the EEOC. This report provides information on the company's workforce composition and is used to monitor compliance with equal employment opportunity laws. By requiring larger employers to submit this report, the EEOC can gather data on a significant portion of the workforce and identify any potential patterns of discrimination or disparities. Question 120. Regarding domestic partner benefits, which statement is true? Option A, ERISA's benefit requirements apply to domestic partners. Option B, domestic partner benefits are not considered as income by the IRS. Option C, the IRS considers domestic partner benefits imputed income. Option D, FMLA prohibits employers from extending its provisions to domestic partners. The correct answer is option C. The IRS considers domestic partner benefits imputed income. Explanation. Correct answer. The IRS considers domestic partner benefits imputed income. The correct answer is that the IRS considers domestic partner benefits imputed income. This means that the value of the benefits provided to domestic partners is treated as taxable income for the employee. Question 121. What indicates the what, why, where and how a job is done? Option A, job analysis. Option B, job descriptions. Option C, job specifications. Option D, job evaluations. The correct answer is option B, job descriptions. Explanation. Job descriptions provide detailed information about the tasks, responsibilities, qualifications, and other aspects of a job. They indicate what needs to be done, why it needs to be done, where it needs to be done, and how it needs to be done. Job analysis is the process of collecting and analyzing information about a job, while job specifications outline the qualifications and skills required for a job. Job evaluations, on the other hand, assess the relative value or worth of different jobs within an organization. Question 122. During this stage of the organizational life cycle, heart rate activities are aimed at implementing career consulting services. Option A, introduction. Option B, growth. Option C, maturity. Option D, decline. The correct answer is option D, decline. Explanation. During the decline stage of the organizational life cycle, heart rate activities are focused on implementing career consulting services. This is because during this stage, the organization may be downsizing or restructuring, leading to job losses and the need for career guidance and support for employees who are transitioning out of the organization. Additionally, heart rate may also be involved in managing the exit process and providing outplacement services to help employees find new career opportunities outside the organization. Question 123. Which of the following learning curves illustrates how a trainee learns the basics of a new, complex skill? Option A, plateau. Option B, S-shaped. Option C, increasing returns. Option D, decreasing returns. The correct answer is option C, increasing returns. Explanation. The learning curve that illustrates how a trainee learns the basics of a new, complex skill is the increasing returns curve. This curve shows that as the trainee gains more experience and practice, their performance and skill level improve at an increasing rate. This means that initially, the trainee may struggle and make slow progress, but as they continue to learn and develop their skills, their improvement becomes more rapid. This curve is often observed in the early stages of learning a complex skill, where there is a steep learning curve and significant progress is made with each practice session. Question 124. Validly identifying the personal traits that will predict how successful a candidate will be on the job is the goal of blank. Option A, job description. Option B, job specifications. Option C, job analysis. Option D, job performance standards. The correct answer is option B, job specifications. Explanation. Job specifications are a set of personal traits and qualifications that are required for a particular job position. These specifications help in predicting the success of a candidate on the job by identifying the specific skills, knowledge, experience, and personal attributes that are necessary for performing the job effectively. By clearly defining the desired traits and qualifications, job specifications assist in selecting the most suitable candidate for the job and ensuring a good fit between the candidate and the job requirements. Therefore, job specifications aim to identify the personal traits that will predict the candidate's success on the job. Question 125. A salaried administrative assistant is earning over $450 weekly. This employee is considered: option A, exempt from being paid overtime; option B, not exempt from being paid overtime; option C, possibly exempt from being paid overtime; option D, eligible for overtime after working over 8 hours. The correct answer is option A, exempt from being paid overtime. Explanation. Correct answer: exempt from being paid overtime. Based on the information given, the salaried administrative assistant is earning over $450 weekly. In general, employees who earn a salary of at least a certain threshold, which is typically set by law, are exempt from being paid overtime. This means that they are not eligible to receive additional pay for working more than a certain number of hours in a week. Therefore, the correct answer is that the employee is exempt from being paid overtime. Question 126. The phases in the labor relations process are: option A, recognition, negotiation, and administration; option B, determining the bargaining unit, collective bargaining, grievance procedures; option C, collection of authorization cards, elections, recognition; option D, collective bargaining, grievances, economic. The correct answer is option A, recognition, negotiation, and administration. Explanation. Correct answer: recognition, negotiation, and administration. The correct answer is recognition, negotiation, and administration. The labor relations process involves several phases. Recognition refers to the process of determining which union will represent the employees. Negotiation involves bargaining between the union and management to reach agreements on various issues such as wages, working conditions, and benefits. Administration refers to the implementation and management of the agreements reached through negotiation. This includes ensuring compliance with the terms of the agreement, resolving disputes, and addressing grievances. Question 127. In what type of plan is a predetermined portion of profits is placed in each employee's account under the supervision of a trustee? Option A, gain sharing; option B, ESOP; option C, deferred profit sharing; option D, defined contribution. The correct answer is option A, gain sharing. Explanation. Gain sharing is a type of plan where a predetermined portion of profits is placed in each employee's account under the supervision of a trustee. This plan aims to incentivize employees to increase productivity and efficiency, as they directly benefit from the company's success. The amount allocated to each employee is typically based on their individual performance or the performance of their team. Gain sharing promotes a sense of ownership and encourages employees to work together towards common goals, ultimately leading to improved financial outcomes for both the employees and the company. Question 128. Which motivation theory could directly support paying high-performing incumbents more than incumbents in the same job who perform at lower levels in order to motivate effort? Option A, comparable worth; option B, internal equity; option C, motivation hygiene; option D, expectancy. The correct answer is option D, expectancy. Explanation. Expectancy theory suggests that individuals are motivated to exert effort when they believe that their efforts will lead to a desired outcome or reward. In this case, paying high-performing incumbents more than those who perform at lower levels aligns with the expectancy theory, as it creates an expectation that high performance will be rewarded with higher pay. This can motivate individuals to put in more effort in order to achieve the desired outcome of higher pay. Question 129. Which of the following statements about defined contribution plans is true? Option A, employees have an ongoing responsibility to contribute to the plan. Option B, employees of not-for-profit or public sector organizations are not eligible. Option C, employers have no obligation to contribute to the plan, only to manage it. Option D, employees assume risk in relation to how well the plan does. The correct answer is option D, employees assume risk in relation to how well the plan does. Explanation. Employees assume risk in relation to how well the plan does. This means that the performance and returns of the plan are dependent on the investment choices made by the employees. If the plan performs well, employees may receive higher returns and vice versa. Unlike defined benefit plans where the employer guarantees a specific payout, defined contribution plans do not offer such guarantees. Therefore, the risk of the plan's performance lies with the employees themselves. Question 130. This level of organizational culture includes written and spoken language, dress codes, and other tangible items. Option A, artifacts. Option B, values. Option C, attitudes. Option D, beliefs. The correct answer is option A, artifacts. Explanation. Artifacts refer to the visible and tangible aspects of an organization's culture, such as the written and spoken language used by employees, dress codes, symbols, and physical structures. These artifacts are easily observable and provide insights into the values, attitudes, and beliefs that are present within the organization. They serve as a representation of the organization's culture and can influence the behavior and interactions of its members. Question 131. You have an employee with an obvious physical challenge. You blank. Option A, do nothing. Under ADA, the employee is required to initiate the interactive process. Option B, initiate the interactive process because you know that the employee is experiencing workplace hardships. Option C, are obligated to provide everything that the employee wants as long as it does not create undue hardship. Option D, are obligated to guess what accommodations are necessary. The correct answer is option B, initiate the interactive process because you know that the employee is experiencing workplace hardships. Explanation. Correct answer, do nothing. Under ADA, the employee is required to initiate the interactive process. The correct answer is initiate the interactive process because you know that the employee is experiencing workplace hardships. This is the appropriate action to take when an employee with a physical challenge is facing difficulties in the workplace. By initiating the interactive process, the employer can work with the employee to identify and provide reasonable accommodations that will help them perform their job effectively. This approach is in line with the requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, to ensure equal opportunities and accessibility for individuals with disabilities. Question 132. Shortly after being named Employee of the Month, a shoes salesperson that worked the late shift solo started having occasional seizures. The employee was diagnosed with epilepsy. Physicians tried various treatments to no avail. After a few months, the salesperson was terminated for his inability to stop the seizures. Is this a violation of ADA? Option A, yes. As Employee of the Month, it is clear he was capable of performing the essential functions of the job. Option B, yes. Epilepsy is protected under the ADA. Employer is required to hire an additional person as a reasonable accommodation. Option C, the employer is in violation of ADA. Not enough time was allowed for the physicians to get the employee's seizures. The employer is in violation of ADA. Not enough time was allowed for the physicians to get the employee's seizures under control. Option D, the employer is not in violation of ADA. Store security is an essential function and is not protected under ADA. The correct answer is option C. The employer is in violation of ADA. Not enough time was allowed for the physicians to get the employee's seizures. The employer is in violation of ADA. Not enough time was allowed for the physicians to get the employee's seizures under control. Explanation. Correct answer, that the employer is not in violation of ADA. The correct answer is that the employer is not in violation of ADA because store security is an essential function and is not protected under ADA. The employer terminated the employee because he was unable to stop the seizures, which could potentially put the safety and security of the store at risk. Although epilepsy is protected under ADA, the employer is not required to hire an additional person as a reasonable accommodation if it interferes with the essential functions of the job. Question 133. Bias claims against organizations using the forced distribution appraisal method may be minimized by all of the following except: Option A, paired comparison. Option B, review committee. Option C, training raters to be objective. Option D, using multiple raters. The correct answer is option A, paired comparison. Explanation. Paired comparison is not an effective method for minimizing bias claims against organizations using the forced distribution appraisal method. In paired comparison, employees are compared against each other, rather than against a predetermined standard. This can lead to bias and unfair evaluations, as it does not take into account individual performance and may not align with organizational goals. On the other hand, review committees, training raters to be objective, and using multiple raters are all measures that can help reduce bias and ensure a more accurate and fair appraisal process. Question 134. This portion of an affirmative action plan identifies the number of protected group members employed and the types of jobs that they hold in the organization. Option A, utilization analysis. Option B, availability analysis. Option C, minority group identification. Option D, job group analysis. The correct answer is option A, utilization analysis. Explanation. Utilization analysis is the correct answer because it involves identifying the number of protected group members employed and the types of jobs they hold in an organization. It helps to determine whether there is a fair representation of protected group members in various job positions. This analysis is an essential part of an affirmative action plan as it allows organizations to assess their progress in promoting diversity and equal employment opportunities. Availability analysis focuses on the pool of qualified candidates, minority group identification refers to identifying specific minority groups, and job group analysis involves analyzing job categories and their composition. Question 135. Product organizations like SHRM and Nike have a culture of independence and creativity. Operations organizations such as Walmart or Southwest Airlines are focused on delivering products and services at a lower cost. Customer organizations like Nordstrom's adapt to customer needs and are totally committed to solving problems. Your main competitor is IKEA. You have been tasked with developing a competitive strategy. What would be the best choice? Option A, low cost. Option B, customer-centric. Option C, efficiency-oriented. Option D, artistic focus. The correct answer is option C, efficiency-oriented. Explanation. An efficiency-oriented competitive strategy would be the best choice in this scenario because operations organizations like Walmart and Southwest Airlines, which focus on delivering products and services at a lower cost, are mentioned as examples. This suggests that the company's main competitor, IKEA, is likely to also prioritize efficiency and cost-effectiveness. By adopting an efficiency-oriented approach, the company can aim to streamline its operations, reduce costs, and offer competitive prices to attract customers in the market. Question 136. A performance appraisal method that combines the benefits of documentation of critical incidents and quantified specific good and bad behavioral examples is known as a, n, blank. Option A, graphic rating scale. Option B, narrative. Option C, MBO. Option D, bars. The correct answer is option D, bars. Explanation. BARS stands for Behaviorally Anchored Rating Scale. This performance appraisal method combines the benefits of documenting critical incidents and quantifying specific good and bad behavioral examples. BARS uses a rating scale with specific behavioral indicators that are anchored to numerical ratings. This allows for more objective and accurate evaluation of an employee's performance by providing clear criteria for assessment. By combining qualitative and quantitative elements, BARS provides a comprehensive and detailed assessment of an individual's performance. Question 137. The NLRB allows temporary workers to join a union with regular FTEs of the employer to which they are assigned under what circumstances? Option A, the decision to join the union or not is up to the temporary employee. Option B, after permission is granted by the staffing agency. Option C, after permission is granted by the staffing agency's client company. Option D, after permission is granted by both the staffing agency and the client company. The correct answer is option D, after permission is granted by both the staffing agency and the client company. Explanation. Temporary workers can join a union with regular FTEs of the employer only after permission is granted by both the staffing agency and the client company. This means that both the agency that employs the temporary workers and the company where they are assigned must agree to allow the temporary workers to join the union. The decision to join the union or not is not solely up to the temporary employee, but also requires the approval of both the staffing agency and the client company.